So you have to know when you can work and when you cannot. If you need to excuse yourself or dismiss yourself or say, I have a family emergency, I really need to be there at this moment, what can we do to make this happen? Then you do it collaboratively with the employer. The employer has to know that if somebody is there and is just a warm body taking up space, that person is not contributing to the goals, to the resources, to the vision, to the mission of the organization. And maybe that's a person that doesn't belong there. Maybe it's not good just to have a person in that slot who is not functional. What did we read the other day about so many people from the government who spend, I think it was 30% of their time online exploring things that they never should have been exploring and collecting money from the government and thus from us? So
Well,
I think that it
that's
is
so
a
true.
threefold process.
It's true, Sharon, and I think it doesn't only happen in government. I mean, it happens in corporations as well, and businesses. I mean, small entrepreneurial businesses as well. A lot of people are, they've got the computer in front of them and they're surfing the web or they're on their cell phones, or everything is so convenient now electronically that it's really hard to monitor. And we're raising a generation of people who don't talk to each other. They text each other,
They
even if they're
text.
in the same room. But even in the same
Exactly.
room, they'll text.
Yeah,
So
they do.
yeah, it's really amazing.
They do.
But
And Gail, I don't know if you're aware, but Amazon once estimated that most of their online sales occur between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. That's a standard workday for most people. That means that most of those purchases are being made during the workday.
that's true. That's true. And what you said about the flu and so forth, that's been a topic of conversation from the medical professionals on TV, where they say, if you're sick, stay home. You don't want to make anybody else in the
Exactly.
organization sick. You're absolutely right. So those of us who are whether we're busy speakers or we're busy in our own business, or we, whatever it is, wherever we're working, maybe we're working and going to school, or maybe we're working and then we've got, I remember at one point, one of my students, when I had my career schools, I mean, she had 3 kids and they were all on different shifts at school. They were all on different shifts. I don't know how she did it. I mean, there are so many conflicting schedules today. How do you maintain balance and reduce stress when you may be traveling or performing or delivering or working or whatever it happens to be?
You make priorities. You decide, everyone, Gail, has a to-do list. I suggest that you convert that to-do list into a must-do list, because everything on the to-do list doesn't necessarily have to be done. And then you prioritize. Like we said in the beginning, life-work balance is a barometer for well-being, for your personal, professional, family, and community well-being. So to make that balance work, first of all, simplify your life. Act on something once. In the same way in which once we were inundated with paper, we used to perhaps put a stack of paper aside and say, I'll get to that later. Instead, I suggest that you do the same thing with electronic communications. Act on it now and then get rid of it. Move it on. Move it to your outbox. When I was having my computer upgraded and changing the server and changing all kinds of things and the hosting, I eliminated 1,500 emails that were sitting in my box, in storage, in archives, like I was eventually going to go back to them. And we all know we're never going back to it.
I was just going to say, we never do get back.
No, we don't. And there's a copy in the Dropbox. Guess what? We can go back to it there. So simplify your life. Make it as easy as possible. Eliminate the stressors in your life. If transport to the airport is a problem with cars or with driving yourself or with public transportation, hire a driver. That's why we have all of these various services available to us. If rental cars are a problem, hire a driver. Negotiate for a car. If you're an employee, I suggest that you negotiate for workplace balance, for downtime, for other things. But Gail, there are so many of us who are self-employed. We need to negotiate that within ourselves as well and say, okay, it's time for me to go for a walk. It's time for me to take a nap. It's time for me to have a glass of water. It's time for me to do something.
Well, I totally agree with you. I'm just not sure. I hope they're coming more and more and more into our existence, but I'm not sure how many enlightened organizations are really out there. I mean, they may talk a good game, but when they want things done, they want things done. And really, the new age kind of company like a Google, let's say, that, you know, you ride your bikes and you have your time for this and all the meals are ready for you and you don't pay for them and all of that kind of thing. That's really unusual. In most corporations, you have a pretty standard procedure. And if you deviate from that, you're not necessarily welcomed at all. But I think that all of this also is a factor that you and I are on automatic pilot so much of the day. I mean, we go places, we don't know how we got there. We don't know how our car managed to get into the parking space. We don't know, you know, we just don't, we're just so automatic on so many things. We don't realize that there are things that we should be paying attention to. So how does functioning on autopilot also affect your mindset?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. When we lived in San Antonio, Texas, many, many years ago, I was driving the Sunday school carpool and I left our house in the suburbs and I drove allegedly to the Sunday school. And all of a sudden, the kids said to me, "Why are we at the hospital?" And it's because my car was on autopilot and it was so accustomed to driving down the highway and getting to Methodist Hospital that that's where it knew to go. Without me, that's where I was. So, what do we do? How do we function on autopilot? Well, you keep the main thing the main thing. What does that mean to you? It's like an aha moment. It's something you can't plan, they just come. And it's a joy to be there when that moment occurs for someone you know. Within the speaking space, we have many aha moments, such as when we see someone from our Speakers Academy discover his or her calling, or gives that magical spotlight speech and really shines. As mentors, we see the smile on the face of a candidate or aspiring speaker and realize that he or she has just connected the dots and that the complex process that we just explained is quite simple after all. So we often function on autopilot, repeating routine present in our lives, as you said, yet being in the moment reduces stress, stimulates creativity, and enhances performance. So typically, mindset refers to your predominant state of mind. It's what you think about, focus on, and expect from your daily experiences. Think negatively, expect the worst, feel pessimistic about your options, and guess what? That's what you're going to attract. We're all familiar with that law of attraction. Likewise, think positively, think abundance, expect the best, and focus on a successful outcome. And that is a result that you will get most of the time. So, why is a success mindset so important? It boosts your confidence and your self belief. A lack of belief in yourself usually comes with a sense of powerlessness and futility, which is the exact opposite of a success mindset. Lack of confidence means you see no point in trying to be successful because it won't happen anyway. So, this is a negative mindset and it's a recipe for failure in every endeavor. But on the other hand, if you think positively and you believe in yourself and your capabilities, you believe that you can succeed at almost anything you try and you're willing to give it your best. Better still, the more you try, the more confidence and self-belief you build until you're virtually unstoppable. It strengthens your determination, it encourages fruitful actions, and it allows you to fulfill and reach your dreams.
Well, as you can hear, Sharon is really a wonderful resource for you. She can help you with your stress, with your balance, with the way you look at life, all of that. Her website is Sharon Weinstein. That's SHARON, and then it's Sharon M. Weinstein, WEINSTEIN.com. SharonMWeinstein.com. Sharon, this has just been fabulous. We have just about 60 seconds left. Is there anything you would like to tell our listeners that we haven't covered?
First of all, I've enjoyed this dramatically. What I would like to say is that each of you deserves self-care, self-respect, self-acknowledgement. You can achieve that not only by simplifying your life and eliminating those stressors, but by taking time to eat, to sleep, to laugh, to have fun, to have a good sense of humor, to dream big dreams, and to continue to reach for all for which or to which you are entitled.
Well, that is so true. And listeners, you've just listened to a woman that has lived all over the world, who has done incredible things, been in charge of major events and projects, is still happily married, has raised a great family, is a grandparent. There's no excuse for any of you out there to say, I cannot do it. It can be done. So go to Sharon's website, which is SharonMWeinstein.com. Sharon, thank you so much for being with us today. We really, really enjoyed having you.
Thank you, Gail, for reaching out to me and for taking the opportunity to chat with me. I've enjoyed it.